Ladies and gentlemen, Jazz Borgonzo, what's next? Today's episode, we're not going to talk about wokeness because I won't say that it's getting old, getting tired. Wokeness, sadly, is the ammo that fuels us, conservatives and libertarians, and just independent-minded thinking people. But we're going to concentrate on something that's very serious, and that is the situation with the gas shortages. But before I go into this video, I'm going to show you a clip that I remember with clarity at the time it happened. Those of you watching are going to remember too. You young heads, oh, you're getting a dose of it now. Let's take a look.
This is unreal. Isn't this disgusting? Why doesn't anybody contact the president? Why is he letting this happen to us?
To sum up in the word of one irate motorist, the first day of the odd-even system was a disaster. Gas lines at many stations were a lot longer than normal.
Line today is longer than it's ever been. I have no explanation for it.
This gas line at one station on the Upper West Side ran from 96th Street and West End Avenue all the way up to 102nd Street. As might be expected, the longer the line and waiting time, the angrier some motorists became.
I think it's terrible. I really think it's terrible. I'm in here for an hour already.
There's no shortage. I don't believe there's a shortage.
The odd-even system can't do anything about the problem of no gas. Some of the people on line here have been in other lines and still don't have a tank of gas.
This is the second gas line this morning.
What happened at the first one?
They ran out.
I've been in 2 gas lines already.
This morning?
This morning.
How long did you wait for the first
I've
one?
been in both lines over an hour, and I'm out of gas. Dead out.
Most service station operators were not following the new regulations to the letter. Drivers with more than a half a tank of gas should have been turned away, but no one was checking.
I don't intend doing that. It's too risky.
This morning we're a little short on help, so we are not checking gauges. But from what the purchases have been, there really is no need because they're all getting large sales.
What are we trying to do?
Well, my son is trying to see how much gas we have left in the tank and whether we can make it out on the Sawmill River Parkway. So he stuck his walkie-talkie antenna in the tank, which I do not see we're going to get out.
Well, all you motorists with odd number plates, tomorrow, it's your turn. I'm Frank Casey, Action News.
All right, guys. What we just took a look at was the gas price shortages, or should I say the gas shortages of 1979. During the years of Jimmy Carter, his one term in president, we saw hyperinflation, we saw gas prices go through the roof, and gas shortages. Now, this had something to do, and it was definitely not something, it was definitely involved in regarding the relations between the U.S. and Iran at that time. I think Jimmy Carter was a good president at the time. I think he was a good guy in a bad situation. Right guy, wrong time. But with that being said, those of us who remember that time, and I do, I was 9 years old at the time, and remember in my mother and father's car as we were getting gas, of course here in the Northeast, we would see gas lines. Now, I don't quite remember if we were there for an hour or so. It might have been. But nonetheless, I do remember gas lines and waiting for it. Now we fast forward 40 plus years later. We are now in a similar situation regarding multiple states. But the difference is that the incoming president at that time, one Ronald Reagan, would rectify that, would flip it on its head. But unfortunately, that was at the latter stage. This is in the beginning stage. The incompetence of this administration. That'll be my take at the end of this. But let's take a look at the article. This comes out of Breitbart. Feds issue emergency declaration for 17 states, D.C. after hackers attack largest U.S. pipeline. The cyber attack on the largest pipeline in the United States resulted in the federal government issuing state emergency for 17 states and the District of Columbia. The emergency declaration covers Alabama, Arkansas, D.C., Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, PA, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. As Breitbart reported, a criminal hacking group led to the shutdown of the largest pipeline in the United States, the Colonial Pipeline, which snakes 5,500 miles along the eastern seaboard, transports 2.5 million barrels of gasoline a day, and provides 45% of the region's fuel consumption. Think about that. 2.5 million barrels of gasoline a day to the eastern seaboard. Vice reported on the hackers' odd statement posted on the dark web. Quote, "We are apolitical. We do not participate in geopolitics, do not need to tie us with a defined government, and look for our motives." Okay? The statement from the dark side ransomware group reads, the statement did not explicitly point to the Colonial Pipeline incident, but it was titled, quote, "about the latest news," end quote. Various outlets have reported that U.S. officials and private industry say DarkSide is behind the ransomware event. Dmitry Semyonets, a cyber threat intelligence expert from cybersecurity firm Recorded Future, tweeted a screenshot of the statement on Monday. Motherboard verified the statement is available on DarkSide's dark web site. Quote, "Our goal is to make money and not create problems for society," the statement said. The statement also indicated that the group may be making changes on how it operates and chooses targets. Quote from today, "We introduce moderation and check each company that our partners want to encrypt to avoid social consequences in the future," end quote. Now, I say that, well, actually, I'm sorry. This is going to lead to this. This article comes out of the Institute for Energy Research. Now, it's dated May 11th, 2020, but it is relatable, especially if we zoom up to November of 2020, which, if my memory does not fail me, I know it was a very long time for a lot of you, but there was some guy named Donald Trump. Yeah, he was the president, 45th president, if my memory doesn't fail me. That it was reported in November that we, as the United States of America, became, quote, independent of foreign oil for the first time. We became energy independent for the first time in decades under Donald Trump. Not Obama, not George W., not even Ronald Reagan, but Donald Trump. Which meant we relied on our coal industry, on our tapping into our own oil reserves on the coasts, nuclear, and natural gas, fracking, which produced thousands of jobs. Now, like I said, the article was dated May 11th, 2020. The United States was energy independent in 2019 for the first time since 1957. U.S. energy production in 2019 was higher than U.S. consumption for the first time in 62 years. Thus, the U.S. attained the long-held goal of, quote, energy independence, which is not to say we didn't import or export, but that we produced more than we used. Supply versus demand, kiddies. Simple 101. One can thank the oil and gas industry and its use of hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling for that milestone, as production in those industries increased a combined 11% in 2019. Total U.S. energy production increased by 5.7% in 2019, while U.S. energy demand decreased 0.9%. Doesn't seem a lot, but if you look at the entire country as a whole, especially traveling during the summer months, that's a lot. Now, let me just go down to the bottom of the article. Conclusion. Despite the major push for renewable energy by environmentalists, i.e. Green Deal, fossil fuels still produce the majority of the energy that we consume today. Renewable energy shares of the 2019 U.S. energy consumption market has only grown by 4% in 62 years, despite costing taxpayer billions of dollars in subsidies. One only needs to watch the Michael Moore film Planet of the Humans, Michael Moore, clown, to understand the folly in using taxpayers' money to promote renewable energy. After we have finally achieved domestic energy independence. Now let me jump to this real quick. Sorry about that. This comes out of PJ Media. The morning briefing, everything is fine. Biden naps while the world falls apart. Let me just get to the meat and potatoes. The news this week, and let us remember it's still early, has been teeming with bad tidings both domestically and abroad. We're returning to Carter-era gas lines, and the peace we enjoyed under President Trump is unraveling all over the world. This comes from Katie Pavlich at Town Hall. Gas stations in nearly 24 states are running out of fuel after a, quote, Russian cyber attack we still really don't know on the Colonial Pipeline system this week. Islamic terrorist organization Hamas is waging war against innocent civilians in Israel, again, where many Americans live and work. Meanwhile, the White House National Security Advisor, not President Biden, President Dementia, let me correct myself, is publicly dealing with Hamas. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan spoke today with Israeli National Security Advisor Amir Ben Shabbat. He condemned the ongoing rocket attacks by Hamas and other terrorist groups against Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. The world doesn't do well when a weak leader in the United States. It does even worse with one who disappears. Forget having the stamina to be president. Dementia doesn't seem to have the stamina to watch TV for a few minutes after dinner. This is not surprising to me. You look at from January 20th to today, May 12th, in that short span of a few months, we have printed more money, trillions of dollars, to keep people at home because of COVID. We've totally ignored hundreds of thousands of illegals flooding the border. We've completely ignored China's insolence regarding us as a country. And now we're having gas shortages because of a cyber attack. But then again, this is what the Democrats have wanted. This is what power-hungry morons want. This is what incompetence wants. The Green New Deal, the little bartenders, lovely plan. You don't need legislation for it. You don't need a bill circulating through Congress. You don't even have to have President Dementia sign it. All you got to do is implement little things like this. While you had a multitude of crises going on right now, you have more jobs than you have people who want to work, which boggles the mind because why would you want to stay home? Oh, that's right. More Biden bucks to keep you at home because we got a pandemic going on. So remember that. We have a crisis at the border, as I just alluded to. So there's 2 crises right there. So here comes the third crisis. You know how everything comes in threes? Here's the third crisis right here. Ignore the left hand, what the left hand's doing. Look at the right. But regarding this administration, doesn't give a damn about what's in the right hand either. They wanted the power, they got it, and now they are literally destroying this country and all the achievements that President Trump was able to do. Like I said, doing a video, I'll be doing a video regarding Israel. But you look at the situation in the Middle East. And of course, if there's disruption, if there's headbutting in the Middle East, it affects gas prices here in the United States, even though as of November 2020, we were energy independent, but not to the likes of Joe Dementia. Joe Dementia wants this chaos. Joe Dementia wants us not to be independent, wants us to run on windmills that don't work. This is embarrassing. This is disgusting with all this going on. But look at the time frame. In just a few months, look what this moron has done to this country in a short amount of time. What took Trump 3 years to rebuild after the Obama debacle of 8 years, Joe Dementia has destroyed within months. You had 3 individual peace deals that were made by Donald Trump in the Middle East. Wiped away. Gone. We're going to have boots on the ground eventually over there. That's coming. You have an unemployment crisis. You have a border crisis. And now you have a gas crisis. But if you listen to the administration, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Like Frank Drebin. Buildings burning down behind him. Fireworks are going off. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here, folks. Go home. Go home. It's all good. Absolutely pathetic. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more videos just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.